Hey guys, this is Cookie Does Stuff, and I've got some time to kill today. It's actually the 22nd of December, and I'm getting ready for the Christmas event that I'm hosting here in Wellington. And I've got a lot of time to kill, so I figured I've got to do my makeup anyway, may as well film it for you guys. I get a lot of people who say that my makeup is good. I don't think it's good. I think it's pretty bad, but I always get a lot of questions about how I do it and like my tips and stuff, so I thought I would just film it so that in future I can just redirect people to this. So I don't know when this video will go up, but Merry Christmas from past Crystal. Ooh. I'm in no way a professional with my makeup, just want to like put that out there at the beginning. I have no fucking clue what I'm doing. I'm completely just taught from YouTube and things that my friends tell me, so please ignore if I make any like horrendous mistakes in this. So without further ado, I guess I'll get started. So I probably won't be looking at the actual camera very much because the way I'm actually filming is I have my phone with the back camera, which is better than the front camera, facing me, and then I have my mirror directly behind the phone so that I can make sure that I'm still in shot. So I'll be looking at the mirror behind. I actually have to like come in a little more as well so I can see what I'm doing. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take this, which is a green concealer stick. I use this for correcting some of my redness because, as you can see, I have very red cheeks. So I like to correct like this section where it's like a little bit odd for it to be so red, and like underneath here a bit. I think I'm going to leave this bit today though because I am going to be in a dark area anyway. So this is just the LA Colors Cover Conceal Pro Concealer Up Stick. Focusing is also going to be a little bit tricky because I have to reach behind the camera to focus this. And this is just in the color green. So I just take this and I just sort of bop 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 bop. This isn't very pigmented, but this is just like my temporary until I can buy the one that I really want. And I just rub that in with my hand. If you are going to color conceal, I would highly recommend the LA Girl Pro Conceal HD High Definition Concealer. So it just looks like this. And they make it in a few different colors. This one is my wife Charlotte Cosplay Cove's one, to correct dark under eye circles. I'm hoping to get the green one for myself in future though. So next I just take my foundation. I use the NYX Stay Matte Not Flat, which I really like. And I use the color 01 Ivory. And I just put a little dab of it on my hand. This container's a little bit empty at this point. We'll probably have to cut it open soon. So this is probably a little bit much. And then I just put a few dots everywhere. And I usually find that the Beauty Blender does a pretty good job of absorbing what's left of it, and then I can just sort of spread it around. So then I take a Beauty Blender. This is the Real Techniques one, and I quite like this one. This one's getting a bit old now though, and I do have to replace it soon. And I just beat that in. Beat the devil out of it. And I do avoid my eye area because I do use eye primer instead. So that's pretty well blended. I'm pretty happy with that. Next I take the Essence Stay All Day 16 Hour Long Lasting Concealer. I really like this concealer, and I find that it's a light enough shade for me because, as you can see, I'm quite pale. I used to use the Maybelline one, but I did come to the realization that their lightest shade was too dark for me. So I just take a couple blobs and I don't go too close to my eye because a beauty guru once mentioned that if you go too close to your eye, then when you blend it, it'll like crease a lot. I put some down the bridge of my nose. I get the top parts of my brows because I find that even if I shave it there, I do get like a little bit of like a dark coloring there. and then I just get any spots. I only have one spot today. That's not too bad. Also, if you'll notice, I do have like a beauty mark here. Just ignore that. I've had people think that it was pen and like come up and try and scrub it off my face. So if you know me in person, please don't do that. I mean, it makes me laugh, but it's not a stain, I swear. And then I just take my beauty blender again. I like to use the tipped end of it, and I just blend that in. So once I've done that, I like to move on to my eyes. Specifically, I like to start with my brows. I'll be cosplaying Nico today, so I need to have quite dark brows. So I use the e.l.f. small angled brush. Let me focus on that. So you can see it's got... Nope, isn't going to focus. Okay. And I'm not going to take a pure black because I feel like... I'm not going to take a pure black because I feel like that would be a little bit much. But I do have some very, very dark browns here. This is the Lidless. This is the LA Colors 16 color eyeshadow palette. It's definitely been through the wars, honestly. It's been traveling to a few conventions. So I'm going to take this color up here and I'm going to put a tiny bit of this color up here in it. I like to start with the lighter color. And I like to start sort of this part of my brow. And I just brush it through. And my eyebrows do stop a little bit short, so I do like to match up. If you move your brush to the corner of your nose and match with the corner of your eye, you can see where your brow should go to. So I do like to bring it down a little bit. So once I'm happy with that, I'll take a slightly darker color, and I like to focus in this area here, in like the arch. And I just like to darken that up just a tad. And then I wipe a little bit off on my hand to make sure there's not too much. And then with just whatever's left on the brush, I just sort of flick upwards at the beginning. So I like this to be nice and soft up the front. I barely put anything on there at all usually. So I'm pretty happy with that. I'm in no way a brow master. I prefer natural brows anyway. But that's how I do mine. So next I take an eyelid primer. This is not my favorite eyelid primer, but I'm working on trying to find a new one. So this is just the e.l.f. one, and I just put a little bit on each lid. I do find that this does brighten my lids up considerably though, because I do have quite dark lids naturally. I used to, in high school, get told off for wearing eyeshadow when it was just my skin. Next I take the Designer Brands Mother Earth palette. This is one of my favorite palettes. I've had it for a very, very long time. It's probably expired at this point, but I'm a broke-ass bitch and I don't want to have to replace it. As you can see, it's being quite well loved. I like to use this shade here for my natural brows on a more daily basis, and by daily I mean occasionally, because I hardly ever wear makeup actually like on a daily basis. And then I like to do the opposite thing that I'm supposed to do. I have two brushes that I like to use for my eyelid, and they're both Real Techniques. One of them I believe is one of them is a base shadow brush, and one of them is the deluxe crease brush, but I like to use them for the opposite. I like to use this one, which is the crease brush. I like to use this to fill in more, and then I like to use this one for the crease and to blend. So I start with the bigger one, and I go into this one here, and I just put it on the outer half of my lid, and then I blend it up a little bit into above the crease. And then I take the other brush and I just blend that a little bit more. Sometimes I just take my finger when I'm being lazy. Then I take the same brush, I take a little bit of this darker one, and I just focus on the crease and the very outer corner. So I just brush a little onto the outer corner, and then I sort of scoop it into the crease. Now I have very, very hooded eyes, so this shadow doesn't really show up very much on me. But I do find that it does make a difference in photos as to how deep set my eyes look. Like, they do look a little more defined if I do have the shadow on. But in person it's not very noticeable because of how hooded my eyes are. I mean, you can see that when my eyes are open you can't really see anything. You can only really see this outer corner. Next I take the Essence Gel Pencil Liner. This is the waterproof one in Cloudy White, if I can get the lid off. And I focus that on the inner corner. I just put a little bit and drag it across just a tiny bit. And then I look directly forward and I get this sort of upper fold of my lid. And that sort of becomes my like boundary line, so that when I close you can see where the top is, and I don't go any higher than that. I just do a little bit more inside. And then to blend that, I take the white from, again, the LA Colors palette, and I just take it on little iPad brush thingy, like a giant version of the ones that come default. I really like these ones. And I just put that in there, and you can see that that already fills in that space and blends it out a little. And then I just take my finger and I blend that in. So that's the base for my eyes done. However, so this is how I usually do them, but it is Christmas and I thought I might put a little extra sparkle in. So I have here a new eyeshadow that I recently got. This is the ColourPop Super Shock Shadow Ultra Glitter in Revolution. I believe this is one of their new holiday ones. It's a really beautiful color. As you can see, it's quite glittery. So I just take a little bit of this on my finger and I'm just gonna dab it into the center and sort of blend between where the white is and go to my outer corner. And then just sort of let it naturally blend out to my outer corner, just to give me a little bit of sparkle today. Because it is a festive gathering, I do want to look a little bit festive. So you can see there I've got a little bit of glitter now. The next thing I only do for idol makeup, which I am doing today because I'm cosplaying Nico. So I take the LA Colors. Can you tell I like LA Colors? I really like LA Colors and I really like LA Girl. I'm not sure what the difference between them is. I think LA Colors is like the budget friendlier version, like the dollar store variety. I'm not sure if they're actually even connected. But this is the LA Colors single shadow in Just Peachy, and I really love this. This is one of the first eyeshadows I ever bought, and it's lasted me forever, honestly, and I feel like it's a really nice level of pigment. It is really pretty. So I take it on the outer corner and I just sort of brush that in, and then I go under my eye and I just brush a little down there. And I usually find that once I've got my wig and my lashes and stuff on, that this isn't enough and that I do have to put a little more. And when I'm going to be doing a photo shoot, if I'm not just at a convention, I'm just doing a photo shoot, I do go a lot heavier handed. And I think from what I know that's supposed to make you look a little more youthful. I just think it looks really pretty. I just really like it. So next up is my least favorite part, eyeliner. I'm not too good at eyeliner, so I like to use gel because I feel like you get a little more control with it. I like to use the e.l.f. gel liner, but I do find that this dries out very quickly. But a nice fun pro tip is if you put a couple of eye drops into it and just mix it up, it'll be good as new. And honestly, I feel like it's an even better consistency now than it was when I originally got it. I like to use the Real Techniques accent brush. Again, this is not what this brush is designed for, but I don't actually like the liner brush that came with this eye kit. I feel like it's not big enough for gel liner. Okay, so I'm nice and close to the camera now, because I need to see the mirror, which is behind it. So I just take a little bit off on my brush, and I start at the, like, sort of middle point, and I just brush a little. I like to go from the outside in, but I do like to put a little in the middle first just to meet up with it. And then I don't go super far into my inner eye. I'll get like this far, and then I open my eye and I just brush in almost the waterline, I guess. So that's how I get my base. So I've got my base on both my eyes. Now the next part depends on what character I'm doing. So I'll bring up a picture of Nico so that I can see what kind of eye shape she has. Especially because I haven't done Nico makeup before, so I'm not quite sure. Okay, so I've had a look at a picture of Nico, and I found something quite weird about her, which, like, characters like Hanyo and Izumi, their eyes come down quite a lot. Characters like Ellie, their eyes go up quite a lot. But Nico's are very, very neutral. There doesn't seem to be a swing up or down either way. So I'm going to do very, very small wings. And I'm just going to have them very neutral in the middle. They're not going to super go up. They're not going to droop down or anything. They're just going to be very neutral. So I start with just a little tip, and then I just match it up. Drag my brush across to meet that original line. So 9 times out of 10 I have to go in with something else, and I guess today the pressure of being on camera made me a little better at my eyeliner and I don't have to do this. But usually I have a makeup remover pen, and I would highly recommend this for any kind of eyeliner if you are not confident with eyeliner. This is the e.l.f. makeup remover pen. It was like $3 on iHerb or something. I think it's gone up a few dollars now. It's like $8 in store if you buy it at Kmart. But it's just got like a felt tip on it, and you just sort of sweep at your liner. It takes a couple passes, and just make sure that after every go, I can see that my wife has not done this, but because you can see the marks all over my hand, but if you just wipe it off on your hand or on a cotton pad or something after every use, then it'll be nice and clean. But this is an absolute lifesaver, and I would definitely recommend getting one of these. So the next thing I do is I take an eyelash curler. I don't have super downturned eyelashes, but I do like to curl them a little bit. And I just curl my lashes, and I put them in, and I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Make sure you release slowly in case there's any like mascara or glue or anything on the lash curler, because it will rip your lashes out. Then I take my mascara, and I have no idea because all of the labeling's gone. I know it's Maybelline, and I'm sure if you went into store you'd be able to find this one and recognize it. But the labeling's fallen off mine. Very well used. And I just wiggle. And for my bottom lashes I use a completely different one. I use the Maybelline, the Falsies, Volume Express Hydrofuge. I don't know if that bit's just French. But this has 2 sides to it. It's got upper and lower lashes. So I just use the lower lashes side. I don't like to use eyeliner under my eyes because it makes my eyes look very, very small, and I already have small eyes because of my hooded lids, so I like to avoid that. Alright, next I'm going to do the rest of my face stuff, my contour, my blush, my highlight. For my contour, I like to use the Australis AC Contour. It's AC on Tour. Thank you, brain. We got there in the end. Contouring and highlighting kit. Though I don't believe I've ever used the highlighting myself. And I like to use this shade here. For some reason it goes, like, I know it's backwards on camera maybe, but for some reason the lightest shade is like rightmost, so I like to use that shade. And I only use a very, very light amount because I have very light skin and I find that it looks like mud on me otherwise. So I have an angle brush and I just suck my cheeks in. And I just brush a couple times. I don't put it on super heavy. And I do like to put whatever's left, I just like to run it lightly across my jaws. And then I take my beauty blender and I just lightly blend it out. Because otherwise I do find that it's a little too harsh on me. Okay, so that's the contour done. It looks really extreme on camera for some reason. It doesn't look terrible though, I guess. And then I do like to take a little teeny tiny bit, I just use whatever's left and I just run it along the edges of my nose. I don't super contour my nose because I do like my nose the way that it is. And I don't like to make the upturnness of it at the end anymore. I mean, I don't like this part of it, but I like this part. I think my bridge is pretty nice. For blush I have a few different things that I switch between depending on the day. For my more natural, I like to use this palette, which you can see has been very well used. This was actually a gift that was given to me. This is the Estee Lauder Deluxe palette for lips and cheeks. And I think the color I use is Tawny Desire, I believe. There's also Port Passion in here, which I use sometimes if I'm doing a more intense. Oh, I got a little bit of hiccups. But I'm not going to use this today because when I do idol makeup, I like my blush to match the eyeshadow so that it all sort of blends in. So I like to use again the single color LA Colors in Just Peachy. And I take this e.l.f. stipple brush, and I like to do, when I do a normal cheeks here, and get it, you smile and get it, but for idol makeup I like to have it a lot higher. I like to have it more in this area, so I take some and I just, and I get this sort of whole area here. And I pack it on pretty heavy, especially if I know that I'm doing photos. And you'll find that, like, usually, especially with like Love Live girls, most of this will be covered by a wig anyway, so it doesn't matter too much if you go too heavy. For my highlighter, I really like to use Colourpop. Usually I use Colourpop's Super Shock Cheek Pearlized in Lunch Money. I really like this one. But recently I acquired the My Little Pony pressed powder, which is super adorable. And you open it up and it looks like this. It's got a little mirror. Hey, you can see the mirror that's behind the camera. Woo! It's got a cute little Twilight Sparkle symbol on it, which is a little dead now because I've used it a few times. I like to use this random AliExpress brush. Just tap it in. And then I just go up here. I don't think it's the fault of the powder itself, because it does swatch really well. I have a feeling that this brush is absolutely useless and is not the right thing for this, but it's the best I have. So I do take a while to really pack that on, especially because I have like a really bright highlight. Okay. Oh yeah, you can see that in the camera. And then I like to put a little bridge of my nose. That's pretty. And then I take a little on my pinky and I get underneath my brow bone. And then I also take my ring finger and I just pack it on a little more in the center of my highlight, just to really get it on. I put a little more on nose as well. So that's my highlighter. I think it's quite pretty. It's got like a purple sheen to it. It's really pretty. I also got the My Little Pony Super Shock Shadow in Sunbeam as well. I'll swatch that real quickly because this shadow is absolutely stunning. You can see how pretty that is. I'm obsessed. I'm honestly obsessed. It's got like a pink to blue shift in it. It's so pretty. So next I'm going to do my lashes. Which box of lashes am I using today? Let's go with the big lashes today. So I don't know what this brand is because I cut the top off for easier storage. But I got this from my local like Japanese store. If you live in Wellington, I got them from Japan City. But the one in the CBD doesn't seem to stock this kind anymore, which is really sad because I really love them. So they're quite intense lashes, but they look super, super pretty with idle makeup. For glue, I use the Clear Duo. This is actual Duo, not rip-off Duo. Smells like vagina, but it does the job, and I think it's definitely better than the fake stuff. The fake stuff is good, and I would definitely recommend it if you're on a budget, but I do much, much prefer the real stuff, even if it does smell a little iffy. I wonder if I can actually get this on camera. I just take a little bit of a blob. Oh, slowly, and I just sort of let it run itself along the lash. Oh, what was that? There's a little something something stuck to this. Okay, so the right amount of time has passed. Usually I have tweezers for this next bit, but they've mysteriously gone missing. So I will just do my best. I line it up, I go in from above, and I just, oh, if my lashes will get out of the way, I just place it best I can. Oh dear. And once I've got it in the place that I want, I make sure to push sort of very slightly on the outer corner to make sure that it flares up. Otherwise, it's a bit of a waste of time wearing them. Usually I would use setting spray as well, but my setting spray ran out literally this morning while my wife was doing her makeup. The bottle is empty. So I won't be using setting spray, I will just be hoping for the best. I do, however, have to set the rest of my face with some powder, as I've just remembered. Absolutely notorious for forgetting to set the rest of my face with powder, because I keep my powder in my handbag. So I never see it in my makeup, and I am like, just completely forget. So I use the e.l.f. powder. I think this is just the, it's just a regular sort of powder little case. This one is the shade light, I think. It doesn't really... Oh, it's the shade translucent, it says, but it does not look translucent. Ooh, bright light. Whee, it's a strobe party. It has just a little sponge, and I just use the sponge that comes with it and just pat it into all the places where I have not already put powder. So the top of my forehead, this sort of like in between area. Chin, this sort of area, and then this will go back in my handbag, and throughout the night I will reapply that when I get shiny. So the last step is lips. I like to do a fairly neutral lip and a little bit of an ombre. At the moment I'm really loving ColourPop's Topanga? I think it's Topanga, which is a satin. I've just recently acquired this. It's a lippy stick. I just focus on the inner part of my lip first. And then I purse. And then I just sort of drag it out to where it needs to be. So that gives just a little bit of a tint, just a little something so my lips aren't completely bare. And then on top of that I'll put a gloss. This is the Sleek Makeup Gloss Me in number 21 Hawaiian Honey, and it's got like a very pretty glitter in it. And I just focus that on the center of my lip. So here is the finished look with the wig and the bows, which are not currently properly attached because I'm not getting into my cosplay for another half hour. I still have time to kill. How did this happen? Maybe I'll just edit this video and like put it in a draft for like the next 3 years. This wig is from Uwowo. Uwowo, what's this? I really love it. It's super curly and super fun and bouncy. So thank you for watching. I hope that this tutorial helped someone. Otherwise, I hope you enjoyed watching it anyway. I hope everyone had a fantastic Christmas. Hope everyone has a fantastic 2018. And be sure to subscribe for more videos in future. Thanks!